Welcome back to this month's Roundtable, your all-in-one comprehensive view of what's happening across the real estate industry, straight from some of the industry's earliest technology adopters and foremost experts in technology, marketing, brokerage, government policy, capital construction, and cybersecurity. As always, this is a three-part show. Part one, introductions, what's new for each of our Roundtable hosts in their business sector. Part two, we unpack and focus in on the month's biggest news and paradigm shifts. In part three, what does this mean for your business and what can you do to outpace your competition over the next 30 days? I'm Andreas Senie, founder of CRECollaborative, brokerage owner, EST properties, and technology growth strategist. And joining me this month is none other than Dan Wagner, Senior VP, all things government, all things policy. The one and only reason that Inland is so great.
No.
Oh, wait, I can't say that. I'm sorry. Compliance is freaking out.
Tony Chorizo is our CEO. He's the reason why. Tony Chorizo. That's the reason why.
I dare say it was your founding team and everything there too. It's the whole thing.
The whole 1,200. We have 1,200 employees. Yes, all 1,200 employees. Yes, I am, but a cog in the wheel of Inland, and it's an honor to be with you.
Thanks for joining us as always, and thanks for all you do in Inland too. Not just Dan today. This month we've got Rebekah Carlson, marketing maverick. CEO, Carlson Integrated. Becca, welcome back.
Great to be here.
And last, but certainly not least for this month, Abel, all things construction, Associated Builders and Contractors, Connecticut, Vice President, the award-winning retention specialist, the best ever, last I checked, 94% year on year. Chris, welcome back.
We try to do whatever we can. Trying to help people out. That's all we're trying to do. It's good to be back, though.
It's fantastic. Dan, you're to my right. Now that I put you in the hot seat, you got to show Inland proud.
I'm telling you. So what the big news is, you see my new Abraham Lincoln that I got. I got this new statue. I'm very proud of that. I just finished being the chair of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce for the last 2 years. And the staff came together and bought me that original piece of artwork of Abraham Lincoln. And everyone knows I love Abraham Lincoln. So that was my big news for the month of June. And now I'm the immediate past president of the Illinois Chamber for the next 2 years. But I will tell you, it was an honor to be part of that. But today, the big news is that's the 250th anniversary of America. And one of the things I really want to highlight, Inland's a part of the U.S. Chamber, and one of the things that they're highlighting to all their members is the free enterprise, and how free enterprise is really the key cornerstone for our economy in America. And I just want to highlight that private property rights, owning property, is a big part of why America is successful. And I will just highlight to you that that there are some folks in the world of progressive politics that just got elected in different states, which is a challenge to some. And we have some of that happening in Chicago, which we can talk about later. But we need to remember that free enterprise and private property rights are the cornerstone of our industry. And we have to, as individuals, part of this industry, we have to fight for that. And we have to make sure that real estate is not used as a piggy bank for the politicians.
It's easy to attack us because we're the wealthiest sector, right? But we're the reason the world goes on here in the real estate world. Chris, speaking of the real estate world, it's been a while back. What's going on in the construction side?
Well, there's some pretty exciting stuff going on. There's always something going on. Obviously, everyone's kind of getting into their summer slammer projects late.
Summer slammer projects.
Those are usually those big anchor projects that come through in the summer, take up all of the specialty contractors' workforce, make sure that you don't see your PMs and your estimators kind of lingering around the office ever. Coffee drinking is usually at an all-time high. And, it's basically what for up here in New England, as you know, Andreas, like the weather is just so anything can happen at any given moment. So, the summer is obviously spring and summer and heading into the fall is when they rely on, the majority of their of their revenue. So those big projects in the summer, everyone's always trying to land a larger project in the summer. And, if they have to pad it with some smaller ones, that's just that. So everyone's kind of moving and shaking right now. We're seeing a lot of building going on the ABC front. I don't know if you heard about this, but it was finally announced. It's been a little hush, but Meta and Associated Builders and Contractors have partnered to launch the America's Workforce Academy, which is really exciting. It's a $115 million program designed to. It's a 5-week boot camp, essentially zero cost paid training to train data center construction workers. So in Connecticut, we're not sure. We don't have a whole lot going on with this type of stuff, but some of these other places that we've been speaking about the past few months in regards to data centers, it's huge. And just the fact there are some other, partnerships going on within the same, space, but by far this is one of the biggest, if not the largest, is Meta choosing ABC to be their partner for this. So that's really exciting and kind of forces me right off the bat to kind of dive into that land of data center, information sharing and knowledge and everything that goes on, the good, the bad, and the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I honestly can't go a single day without somebody asking about AI, talking about AI, and that obviously includes data centers.
Yeah.
And Chris, there's a ton of politics around data centers.
Tons and tons. I'm starting to hear a little bit about it, but I also love, Dan, anytime I hear you say the word free enterprise, I get a big smile on my face, because that's what Associated Builders and Contractors is truly does represent, is free enterprise, and everyone having a shake at getting invitations to bid and bidding on work. So I love it.
Yeah,
Building said data center. Hopefully. Making them look good. Back to Carlson. What's the latest and greatest on the marketing side? It's out here on your
It's
screen.
so weird, but we have had ComEd and Xfinity and somebody else laying fiber in our area lately, which hopefully just says that all of the progress that we're all experiencing in technology will be coming to my home soon, as I'm here from my home office today.
Well, it goes to show you that the Northeast, where Chris and I are, for the audience tuning in, is really the best place to be. Leading the country, going to college,
Hey.
right? We've got this program with Meta, Associated Builders and Contractors. I know Inland is in Illinois, but they might move one day. Are you guys in your new offices? I mean,
no. So our new offices are being remodeled right now. We're going to move in December. Is when we're going to move out of our world headquarters that we've been in for many years here in Oak Brook, Illinois, and it'll be scraped. And then Amazon's going to come and put in a new, kind of like a Costco kind of store, and it'll be a major player in the world of shopping. And Oak Brook happens to have one of the best Costco's in the country. So if you're going to go and do go head to head, this is the place you want to do it. So our 28 acres here is going to turn into this really intense Amazon competition. So it's going to be a big deal.
It's funny. It's last time I was teaching a continuing ed class here in Mudsport, which is a very affluent town here in Connecticut. There was so much anger and upset over Amazon coming, right? It's the Amazon Center, what it's going to cause and what it's going to do to traffic. And oh my God. And I leaned back and I looked and I said, guys, you realize for Amazon to want to invest here is a huge signal that you're the right place to be.
Yes.
Right? If the data center is knocking on your door, yes, there's concerns. Yes, there's going to be change, but they're still knocking on your door. There are places in this country where nothing's happening. It's not just lazy brokers out or lack of marketing.
Just as a disclaimer, in case anyone just kind of came in a little bit later, the program I was just mentioning, it's an ABC national program, but they did a launch earlier this month. They started the launch in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Houston, Texas. So major data center infrastructure markets. So it's pretty exciting stuff. It's pretty exciting stuff to talk about and to hear the politics around it. It forces you to learn if you're not in the know.
Well, how can you not be? It's impacting, it's infecting, it's everywhere, right? Anything in all of your tools, I don't care if you're choosing to use it or not. I use it in many different ways, but everywhere I look, it is powered by AI. Try the new AI experience, mostly for the good, admittedly. Becca, your company was nice enough to redo my website. I am curious, AI, middle of the year, coming into second half, what is the change that this has caused? Are people impacted?
That's a really good question. And I've had some really interesting conversations around it lately. One of the wonderful challenges of AI is, candidly, is that it produces so quickly and it produces so much. The sheer volume of content that can be produced in a string of queries is a little bit overwhelming. We have a client that had identified 5 or 6 target audiences and within an hour produced 50 articles for each.
Wow.
But nobody knows what to do with 50 articles for every target audience. That's 200. I mean, they had 200 articles that were produced in mere minutes. The problem is then they need that CMO mindset of somebody who actually knows what to do with all this stuff they keep generating and generating and generating. And I think that there's going to be a lot more work towards distilling it and distilling the copious amounts of information available. And I had another situation actually this week where there were some references that were cited in a pitch deck. So this is a compelling piece, and they were not. I did not do these articles that were cited, and then when the links were clicked, it actually went into like random M&A advisors LinkedIn post, which by the way is not citing. That is not an official source. But chat had given them this list and like they put in the hyperlinks, but without naming the hyperlinks to where the data came from. So it was aggregate data taken from a list that chat had cultivated for them with various statistics. But when I went into the primary data, and I'm nerdy when it comes to data, I believe in citing actual sources. I never got in trouble for plagiarism in college or anything like that. I actually learned learned those lessons early on. I literally had to pick apart all of these statistics that were cited, take them apart, and I debunked or could not find 50% of them. Well, if you're using this as compelling data for some statistics and some information that you're providing in a pitch deck for investment, like it's just not okay. You can't do that. You have to have those primary sources. And some of them I could find attributed to other sources. Some of the sources were behind paywalls and nobody knows if that's what they said or not.
Well, what we're talking about is content shot and then AI hallucination, right? Because if it doesn't know the answer, it's going to sound smart.
Well, no, it wasn't making up answers. It was just taking generally agreed upon principles and calling it fact. But those when it tried to cite where those generally agreed upon principles were located, it couldn't actually cite those with clarity and specification so that you could actually cite that source. In fact, and it cited some incorrect sources. So yes, you're right. The hallucination factor, we've said it from the beginning. Trust but verify. It's what we do with numbers, right? Like that's what you do as a business.
Why you hire brokers? Sorry.
Yes, I know. All the
well, Becca, I will tell you, my AI experience this week was terrific. In Inland we use Copilot, and my boss he asked for information related to student housing and how the new law that went in effect on July 1st that reduces the amount of student loans that students can get, how that could impact student housing in the future. And so again, using Copilot, this document that would have taken me probably a week to research was done within an hour. Everything was done, and it was perfect, and he loved it. And I mean, it couldn't be better. And I made sure to ask where it got its sources from, and it listed it. And then I made sure, like you said, go and check those sources, and it was all checked out, and it worked out really well. And the issue is that students are needing to get loans, but there's some people that can't afford those loans, and they've gotten into trouble. And so I guess the government's trying to curb that. But then the universities are upset because they have less students that can afford to go to their schools. So that could reduce the amount of students, or it could reduce the amount of people that have luxury student housing, and that all that stuff is related. So it was pretty interesting, and luckily Inland's in a very good position for our student housing, but it certainly was a benefit to have that co-pilot, and what a tool to be able to use. I mean, that was just a perfect thing. And with the 4th of July weekend coming, I didn't want to spend all my time over the weekend working on a document on the project, and it was phenomenal. So I'm like, yay, this is great.
Could always send those students to trade school if you need to also. So.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. You're right.
We'll take them. We may not have any more
build
room.
Some student housing by the trade schools. They could.
I don't know. I know a few of them. I actually used to work for a college out of Rhode Island, New England Institute of Technology. Great education up there. And when I started there, they didn't have dorms for years, and then they built a dorm to kind of
the residence halls at universities. They have to say residence halls.
Yes. There you go.
That's a big thing.
So anyway, once they built the residence hall, it kind of was a game changer. It was pretty awesome. And some of the majors, they had all the trades as majors there, which was kind of neat. So
that's nice.
Well, I mean, AI for an intelligent person is dangerous, right? It makes you much faster than you ever would have been. The way to aggregate, the way to execute. I mean, it's truly incredible. I wish Saul was here so I could finally say you're right. That's great, but it's still a day 2 intern, a day 1 intern, a day 2 intern. And while we do use it all day, I did actually have an irate prospective client who couldn't reach a live body. He said he couldn't find the number, couldn't reach us. I couldn't talk to a live person. To be fair, he must not have looked very hard, because I know Carlson Integrated created a beautiful website for me. And, on the sticky header is the phone number, right? Like live person. But it's certainly interesting. It's certainly helping us. And Dan, I did not expect you to come back and say, I turned in some of my work after using AI. That is of interest. I mean,
it's a big deal. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you.
No, well, one that are you using it on the government side? I mean, I thought you walked and talked, and that was the day-to-day, truly. But
oh my gosh, of course. I mean, in everything, but the government side, with the latest things happening and updates, and oh my gosh, I use it every day. It's very important.
Now, most importantly, how has it helped you improve your decorations? And you didn't send me the decorations.
So our audience needs to know that I am a decorator extraordinaire when it comes to every holiday. So I decorate literally for every holiday, and I have a 15-foot blow-up American flag. I have a Santa Claus that is dressed, a 7-foot Santa Claus dressed in camouflage, holding the sign, God Bless America. Lots and lots of red and white and blue throughout my yard. So it is a wonderful sight to see. And we need to all remember that life is short, and we have to celebrate every day. So that's my theme for decorating.
I love the holidays for many reasons. One of which is I get to see the decorations year-round. I do nowhere near as much as you did there. But Chris, on the construction side, on the bids, right? You say that the summer slammers. Is AI impacting, improving, reducing?
Yeah, I mean the contractors. I mean, they've been forced to embrace it. Obviously, remember if we kick back to last year or a year and a half ago, where there was still that nervousness out there as to like, what is this all about? I want to try to move on without it and all that sort of stuff. I think so many avenues have come in, and technology has just moved so quickly in the construction space, where AI is simply part of the programs that they were already using. So they don't necessarily, even if they don't really want to sit there and try to, adopt something new, it's coming their way. It's coming to their doorstep. So it's already built into some of the software programs they're working with. And if it's not, the construction tech programs are buying up the companies that are really doing their thing with AI, so they can just enhance it and add that to their portfolio, and then put it right in front of those end users anyway, whether it's a developer, whether it's a subcontractor. So they are using it. We're far off, if probably ever, to a point where all of a sudden you're going to start seeing, there was a lot of talk. Remember about a year and a half ago, there was talk about it taking jobs away and robots and doing this and using this to that's not really happening in the construction space. There's still nothing's taking construction workers off of sites and just replacing them. I just saw, even in the motor industry, I saw Ford had to just rehire tons of seasoned engineers because AI wasn't doing what it needed to do for its quality control, and it couldn't make up for the years and years and years of knowledge of these, seasoned engineers. So I don't feel as if there is that massive amount of nervousness that was there maybe a year ago, where people thought like, oh my God, I might not have a job, or oh my God, if I don't take this, we may not land a job. It's like, this is still a people business. It's still, you're just as good as your last job. You got to be able to get out there and produce on time. You still have to be open and honest to keep jobs moving in the right direction. So I think overall, what I'm seeing, they're adapting to it, and they're, some of them are just starting to realize, like even like myself, I'm realizing now, I use it every day, obviously, but it's just some of the simple things that I'm not worried about mistakes being made. Creating a list, literally just hitting record. Hey, I need you to make this list. Boom, 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 boom. I buy and sell some stuff every once in a while. And last night, cat was out of the bag. Before the show, we were talking about I'm hopefully getting a house. And with that, Dan, you were on the spinning wheel before the show. We were trying to get. But last night I was in a room, and I have a bunch of stuff that I want to sell and I want to list it. I just hit record and I just started talking, and there I have a list with all the prices right next to it, and all I got to do is put it out in front of whoever wants to put it out, and money's actually being made, when this is the same stuff that has sat in bins in my back room for years, and that's all it took. So the same thing's happening on in contractors' offices, on job sites, punch lists. These guys have been using AI to record punch lists for a long time, and they didn't even realize it. Now these things are, you take a punch list and send it off to, whoever you need to send it off to kind of make sure everything jives with the contracts. Next thing you know, it's getting done, and the PM or the super is on to the next job. So,
for an intelligent person,
the fear isn't there like it was about a year ago.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Truly, I mean, my AI, I've become more efficient. I have an AI coach that yells at me every day. It tells me how efficient my day was because of all the different tools. I think about the projects. I think about Olivia Ramos and Deep Blocks. Just looking at a piece of land and trying to figure out highest and best, and what would have taken weeks to analyze.
Oh, absolutely. When I write a speech, that would take a while to research. Okay, I love Lincoln's quotes, and now I'm able to like boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's just takes me minutes. Stuff that would take me hours takes me minutes.
Right. Which means you can get back to the human aspect and do more
100%.
politicking, do more regulation, more marketing, more quality interaction. And there's always been an overabundance. Well, maybe not so much. There's information about commercial real estate. Luckily, it's all siloed, always will be siloed. Our owners don't bring it online. So the only thing left for AI to tackle and make us faster and smarter at is the minutia, which it's clearly doing day in and day out. In fact, it helps summarize this show now. And those summaries are being picked up, and the audience continues to grow. So I want to take a quick moment and thank our audience of now over 7,700.
How many?
7,700 per month.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So thank you to our audience. Thank you to the AI that works in the background that does that. Thank you to my co-hosts. It's been incredible. day in and day out. Those that have been paying attention have noticed that on different platforms, our description is changing. These are all AI suggestions, right? And it's working. It was all us before now, but some of it is now the AI guys.
Andreas, I remember when you first started, and it was just okay. We had 100. It's just amazing.
Kudos to Mr. Regan Mendoza for his statement of you can't get to 100 if you don't do one. Just start already, and admittedly, listen to the guy who's smarter than you. Just do and pay for the things he tells you to pay. The lights and the mic and the thing.
You're the one you're the big toe of this whole organization. I mean, you have made this thing work, and thank you for all the work you do. I believe we're in the top 10% of all the commercial real estate shows, right?
We're in the Becca's firm sent me a list. We're in the top 100 of commercial real estate firms, commercial real estate shows by, I forgot which group. Top 10% by Google.
Yep.
Nice.
And so on.
Overall.
Now, to be fair, to get to the top 5%, we need 100,000 plus more listeners. So I'm asking the audience to please like, share, and review us. There's a big delta there, but we're going to keep on keeping on. But even NAIOPS, Joe, we're ahead of them currently, and so on. And that's really, thank you for the testament to me, but it's a testament to you guys. It's a testament to people coming back, wanting to tune in and learn more, right?
Well, Andreas, when we get to the 100,000, people are going to start wanting commercials. They want to start paying you for commercials.
People have asked me for commercials, and I continue to turn them down. So we've had brands come out to us and say, "Hey, please showcase us," and so on. And we continue to be commercial free on purpose. You guys are great. So
we're like the NPR of podcasting.
I'll take that as a compliment. We could be the future NPR of commercial real estate. Absolutely right. So, Dan, here we are. It's July. It's our 250th year anniversary. The 1031 is safe. It's intact for now. We have AI in the background helping us be smarter, helping maybe inform politicians to not attack the 1031 or other real estate related items, or less so.
Less so. That's not it. The AI is not impacting just basic policy.
I'm just talking about educating politicians. I'm hopeful.
Educating politicians is still that one-on-one. You walk in the halls of Congress, and that's probably one of the most important things to do. And educating their staff. With the 1031. We're fine right now with the House is Republican, the Senate's Republican, and the President's Republican. And while the first era of the Trump administration, they looked at eliminating the 1031 to reduce taxes, our industry, we were able to all come together with NAR and the NAREIT, the Federation of Exchange Accommodators, and all these wonderful groups to be able to save the 1031. And convince the Republicans that the 1031 is so vital to our commercial real estate economy. And then, so we saved it. And then President Biden came in and he wanted to cap it. He wanted to get rid of it. And then we stopped him from that. And then he said, well, we'll cap it at 500,000, which ultimately is getting rid of it. And so we were able to work with the moderate Democrats and Republicans, and we saved it as an industry. Everybody coming together, the farmers, because farmers are dirt rich and cash poor, and the 1031 is a really big deal for farmers. They're a big deal for conservation groups that actually buy farmland, because the farmers would never sell it if they had to, if they couldn't 1031. And then everything would get locked up and stopped if the 1031 was capped or went away. And so we, again, convinced everybody. But now the progressive wave of politicians are getting elected. And my Congresswoman, Delia Ramirez, represents me in Wheaton, but she lives in Chicago. She actually has a bill in. It's not going to pass right now, but she has a bill in to eliminate the 1031 by capping it. And meeting with her staff 3 different times, they're just a philosophical difference that they just say this is what the Congresswoman believes, that if one person is unhoused, that's one too many. And real estate, it's difficult to see people making money on real estate when people should be housed. And all the discussions and everything that I tried to show, the macro studies that were done and the microeconomic studies that were done by the industry didn't convince them. And in the progressive world is knowing that if they're able to continue to gain traction, it's gonna be a formidable attack against the 1031 in the future. So our industry needs to really, people out in the listening audience need to make sure that when you vote, make sure to register to vote, but when you also vote, vote for the person. It could be Democrat, Republican. We're not promoting any party. We're the real estate party. I mean, that's what we promote. And there's lots of folks that are that might disagree on a variety of issues, but I know the National Association of Realtors, they are a huge reason why the 1031 exists, and the realtors come together in a bipartisan way for private property rights to come together to fight for the 1031, and they're educating every member of Congress. And what's so powerful about NAR and why I love paying my dues every year, and I donate to RPAC, and I'm proud to say that I'm now at the 50,000 level Hall of Fame for RPAC. And it's really the best investment I could make, because every member of Congress has a realtor attached to them, and that realtor is either a personal friend or has run their campaign, or so when they go in, they have some gravitas to be able to say, hey, these are the issues that the realtors really care about. And the 1031 has always been such a vital part of it, because the community would not be successful if it wasn't for the 1031. And people take it for granted. And the staff people in Washington are usually like 22 years old. They're pretty young, and they don't necessarily know about how things work. And so when you talk about deferring taxes for the 1031, they say, well, my gosh, you're giving a rich person some sort of special treatment. And it's like, no, this is, as I've said a million times, Andreas, this is the 401k of real estate. You're able to make sure to grow, just like your 401k, you grow tax-free. And then eventually when you cash out is when you pay the tax. And that is probably the best explanation I've been able to give to the Hill staffers to be able to understand it. And but the progressive world, it's still out there, and it goes against, it's cognitive dissonance for them. And it's, again, education, and understanding free enterprise is been the bulwark of our country. And at this 250th anniversary, I can't stress how everybody on this that listens to us, all 7,700 people that download us, please evaluate who is running in your area for Congress and Senate, and for anything, and make sure you know how they will impact your industry. And again, I'm not promoting Republicans. I'm not supporting Democrats. It's just we're supporting the real estate party, and that's an important thing for everybody to remember. And get out there and register to vote, and make sure that you vote. And in Chicago, people, make sure you vote more than one time. Because we do that in Chicago.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Well,
Just kidding.
The education and going out to vote more than one time, or rather going out to vote. Let's roll that one back and say, this is a bit of a marketing question, Rebekah. I don't know if it's a fair one. So I remember, Google Analytics, and you can see what people are looking at, how they're searching the web, and just try to understand, right, the collective consciousness. And with AI, speaking of the 1031, right, understanding how I can save those funds, how I can reinvest those funds, and all of these things. Is there an actual way to see the keywords, what people are doing in AI, right, where the collective consciousness is looking?
Probably there's.
Without asking, because I can ask.
I mean, right. I think you just ask it what it says, and you'll get something. I'm not sure how much that market data is tracked, but there are research houses, certainly in the political sphere, that do track consumer sentiment or public sentiment on various issues. And with all of the contested issues around data centers that I'm seeing right now, and some of the generational divides around data centers, I would not be surprised if somebody is if that is being actively tracked and actively addressed in various ways. I think when you talk about what's being, recording or tracking people's behavior from a AI input standpoint and cataloging that in some sort of statistics, I think, you can run into some privacy issues. And boy, I wish Darren wasn't gallivanting around the world. He sent us gorgeous pictures from Ireland earlier, and I was like, why didn't you take us, Darren? That wasn't very nice to leave us all here. But the reality is that most of the, there have been very much increased privacy laws that have been implemented around tracking actual individual data of who's going to where and doing what. There's more aggregate data, and you'll see that like on your Google Analytics or things like that. And certainly different states and different countries, the requirements in the EU are more stringent than ours. So anybody who's doing business there, though, has to enfold all of those requirements around privacy within what they're tracking at any point in time. So I think it would end up being more around the public polls and actual research houses that you would get some of that consumer sentiment data versus getting it from the analytics softwares, which are nowadays told not to track.
Yeah. So, and it was a rough question, right? Where my mind is going, right here, you have AI, you have farmland, you have 1031s, you have adjacent land, and I'm all over. I pull up my GIS system, right? I'm looking at the adjacent parcels, and I'm immediately querying what can be done. How can I grow? Where's the edge of growth in any given market based on any given tool? At the same time, I'm going, well, wait a minute. If I'm actually the owner of said AI platform, I know what's being asked and prompted and where, then all of a sudden I'm incredibly different. AI, Inland, for instance, has won quite a few awards in the AI space for deploying AI property management, becoming smarter than those around, right? Moving faster. So I guess my query is, where's the benchmarking? And again, it's an unfair question. How do I know where I am compared to my peers on AI and where I can do better?
Well, I got to tell you, Jovan Marconi is our guy here at Inland, and that would be a good follow-up segment to have with him because he's brilliant and has really helped to guide Inland into the AI universe. And so, across our spectrum, we have all of our, we're a vertically integrated company where we manage our own real estate. We buy, the whole ball of wax with property tax issues, everything across the board. We manage all aspects of our real estate investing, and I know that our AI folks are just going a million miles an hour, and it's keeping up, and they're doing it. And we have another big part of our future of Inland is the institutional capital division. We have Lou Kruk, who we're so excited that he's here and building up this great institutional platform for Inland. And it's exciting to see all the different things we do because we're securities and everything. We do have compliance issues, and so I'm sure our lawyers would be glad to say, Dan, you're going over your skis a little bit because the compliance world for securities is a big deal. And I'm sure, like what Becca said in regards to what can be tracked, and I'm sure there's lots of stuff like that I'm not, I'm off the top of my head, I'm not able to really cite. So I don't want to get over my skis. But compliance is a big issue in my universe. I have my series, besides my real estate license, I have my Series 7 and my Series 63 securities license. And as I tell everybody, Dan Wagner passing the Series 7 on the first try, there's a God. It was divine intervention that I did that.
Was that the Inland School? Did you get trained out of the Inland School? Is that still?
It was not. No, Inland School is for real estate. For securities, yeah, it's a whole another ball of wax. But yeah, it is very intense. When you press the you finish button, within seconds you find out if you passed, and it's either pass or fail. So, but securities, you have to get you got to get fingerprinted by the FBI. There's all that kind of stuff. So. But Inland is always at the cutting edge of that.
Inland is an incredible story, truly. So we're all deploying it, we're all using it. We're moving forward in a world where the human touch is important. Humaneering, as it's called, right, is more important now. Emails, are they written by you? Are they written by AI? We don't know. The only thing you know for sure is when you're with someone and they're talking to you face to face, that's 100% off. There's no AI in the middle of it, which is why I'm going to shamelessly plug the CRETech event on October 20th, with which we are a partner. Please come join us. Becca's coming. I'm coming. I'm going to get Dan to come. He doesn't know it yet. Chris is going to come as well. He doesn't know it yet. That's October 20th to the 21st for CRETech. That is the largest gathering of commercial real estate tech and commercial real estate money, right? Actual institutions like Inland and the actual foremost technologies, such as Cherry, such as CRECo.ai and others. 3,000 plus attendees. Wall Street's there, so on. We're all there. Come join us, please. And with that, all right, Chris, construction is up. What is the biggest thing you can give the audience as we head into the 250th year celebration?
Let's see. Well, I'm personally trying to stay as busy as possible, just like my contractors, more than anything. A comment I was going to make in regards to what we were just talking about, and what's interesting is you have that personal touch, and you have these people talking to people, and people talking to people on the job sites, and people. When it comes to AI, one thing I've noticed is, and I should have mentioned this earlier, is some people expect questions to be answered faster. A lot of people, most people expect questions to be answered faster, because if you're resourceful in pretty much any space, if you're resourceful in any sort of space that you're involved in, but for this instance, I'll use construction or the AEC, the architecture engineering space. If you're knowledgeable or industry expert in those spaces, if someone asks you a question, let's say 10 years ago, they would expect that you would either have an answer, or the stock thing would be never to say, I don't know, but it would be, let me dig into this a little bit. Let me find some, and we lived off of that for very long years and years and years. If you're supposed to be an industry expert or someone who's very, intelligent in regards to a specific space, you don't want to say, oh, I have no idea, I don't know, and just walk away. You want to go find that out so you can put that into your memory bank and then move forward. Now, as I mentioned, a year and a half ago in the construction space, there was a little more fear in regards to how it was going to be handled. Am I still going to have my job? All the things I talked about a little while ago. We talked about it last year at this time. Now, if someone's on a job site and a certain question is asked, yes, if it's a question that has to do with a very specific situation, maybe on a blueprint or whatever the case is, or a drawing, yes, that might be one thing. But if something is asked in regards to construction in more of a general sense and things that people have learned, people want that instant gratification. And it's almost like, well, why don't you type it into Claude? Why don't you type it into, whatever, ChatGPT? Why don't you Copilot, whatever? Like, why don't you use AI to on your job? Even if it's not the person asking, if it's a secondhand conversation, I hear it every single day, where someone will say, well, I'm not sure exactly how to do that. And someone else will say, well, it's almost like the new YouTube, where it's like do it yourself type of stuff. Like your DIY is, well, type the question into, skip Google, skip this, skip that, skip research, type it in, try to get an answer that comes out correctly. If you're really smart about it, you do what Dan was saying and what Becca was saying as far as sourcing it and making sure you have it. But the idea is that you can get these questions and get that. People don't want to wait 24, 48, 72 hours to get their questions answered and there's problem solved. And I'm seeing that in the association space a lot, because we're asked questions all the time. And I should be able to drum up something relatively quickly And with AI having the ability to send an email out, now I haven't gone to that route where I've had emails sent out, written and sent out for me. I'm sure I will at some point, but they don't want to wait that time. And if you leave them hanging for a little bit, by the time you get back to them now, they are going to have done just that. They are going to have, someone's going to tell them, well, why did you ask Chris? Why don't you, he's a busy guy. They might not even be malicious. He's a busy guy. He's busy. Go look it up in Claude real quick and see what you come up with. And by the time you get back to them, they at least have what they maybe look at as a good enough answer, or enough to get by. So it's a little bit of a patience game. And it's built off of that instant gratification that we've gotten so used to growing accustomed to. And it's only going to get, I don't want to say worse, it's only going to get more urgent because the generation behind us, they live off of it. They thrive off of it. That's what they wait. Are you kidding me? Wait? Like, what does that mean? That's like the dirtiest 4-letter word to the generation behind us and then the generation before that. I tell my 11-year-olds anything that has any sort of hesitation behind it, or like just chill for a second. And I know that I have just about that 1 second before she's already trying to either do whatever she wanted to do. But in most cases, she's already trying to figure it out on her own, which is great. But it makes for a very interesting way of communicating, an interesting way of dealing with things. When we were kids, it was like, go figure it out. You got legs, go use them. Now it's like, you got AI, go use it.
So
It's very interesting in that sense. It's cool. I feel like I'm a rookie with AI. I sat there and listened to listen to you guys and listen to everybody, and I just kind of start dabbling. And I'm like, it's a very cool concept where that's the equivalent. You got hands, go pick it up yourself.
Well, Chris, the other thing that really, I think you kind of touched on too, though, is, and with Rebekah saying all the data that can come just flying at you, I think it also behooves us to highlight that the realtor world, having an advisor that understands and can synthesize, understand the data that's coming at everybody. You clearly could have someone that's going to have a lot of talking points or whatever, but to find out the real stuff. I mean, Andreas, when you're out there, you, I'm sure, are able to be the qualified advisor that everybody needs. And it's better to have someone like you than just some neophyte just zooming through AI saying, hey, I know this, I know that. But you have so much more experience in real life knowledge that I think it's important for our audience members to know that too.
Right. So AI can't solve everything, right? It's the signal through the noise. I heard that from some other talking. Yes, AI can give you answers, and I love that, because I'm laughing as you're talking about why not go look it up. In my head, I'm going, yeah. Remember the days when a client called and asked about the market, and you could say, let me check the market and I'll get back to you. By the way, if you were the broker that said that, you didn't have many clients. You had to know the market.
Yeah.
But to your point, the questions are a bit further and wider, right? I better know about the roof. I better know about everything and anything in my market, or at least be able to look it up.
And then, Andreas, you mentioned a little while ago about that human element and being able to utilize AI to make the human element interaction a little more. You didn't use the word genuine. I forgot what your word you.
Authentic.
A little more of that. What was it?
Authentic. But
authentic and human. And one of the funniest things that I was just thinking about this before is, so I ran into some real estate questions throughout this week, just on the residential side, as I kind of mentioned earlier. And my first thought was, let me text Andreas.
Well,
my second thought was, this is not over the top stuff. This isn't overly important stuff. Andreas is busy. I'm going to see him on Thursday. I'd rather chat with him Thursday and maybe catch up kind of away from my question. and keep that more of a genuine and human side than sit there and he and I end up, I don't want to say wasting, but spending our time taking 5 minutes to answer a question that. So I did. I went to AI to get a couple questions answered, and they weren't that big of a deal, and I didn't really have to dig into them too much. But I was very careful when I reached back out to my agent to deal with what I was dealing with, to not sound like I'm asking them, like, because I already know, like having them go, oh yeah, this guy's,
Reading off AI.
This guy's Googling stuff. That 5-10 years ago, it was, oh, this guy's Googling stuff. What happens when you had a little medical issue? Oh, Jesus. You go into the doctor's office.
I've done that.
Yes, we've all done it. Yeah. But the important thing would be to know when to let the doctor do their job, when to use what you learn to keep the doctor honest, and then also when to just kind of shut up and let the person who went to school for 12 years do what they went to school to do. And that's when I sent my questions to an agent, it was like, I made sure to keep it very soft, because it was like, and some of the stuff was stuff that I learned on this podcast.
Well, hopefully.
Totally. 1,000%. And that's what I was kind of going off of. And I'm like, wait a second, I know a little bit about this. Let me dabble. So it can keep that human element alive, where the conversations in person can be a little more in person and personable, rather than, so I find myself not having those questions of how's work? What are you up to? What are you up to now? How's everything at work? How's everything at work? We all know how everything is at work at this point. And if I didn't, I could sit there and dump into AI. Hey, what's going on in, commercial real estate? And I could probably get a pretty good sense, enough to have a conversation with somebody about commercial real estate. The reality of it is, I don't know if it's going to be correct. I want to have the conversation. Yeah, I want to be on here and learn from you. I don't want to sit there and make believe and sit there and hopefully listeners, and that's why the listenership has grown to have that human element also still alive.
I think it's for Dan's decorations, to be clear. One.
That's why I'm here. I'm here because I thought Dan was going to be dressed like Abraham Lincoln for this show.
I should have.
But go ahead, Becky.
Is that okay? I do have a couple things to say, because one of which is I missed our show last month because I was on vacation. I got to see the big Abraham Lincoln at Mount Rushmore. And I thought of you, Dan, as I was there.
That's awesome. It's a wonderful.
It was gorgeous. It was twilight, like the sun was going down behind the mountain, and it was actually stunning. It was truly beautiful experience to be there. And if anybody needs it, I've got a parking pass. It's good for a year. So I'm happy to send anybody else out to Mount Rushmore for that trip. But interestingly enough, and one thing that I did not realize until that trip, is that there are still many places in this country that do not have cell phone service or internet.
Yeah. No AI?
There's no AI, and I tell you, I can't even make a phone call or GPS, or if the trail wasn't downloaded, there was no way to download it. And that would be like the entire West. So it is something to remember, that there are still human interactions and nature interactions that are happening all day, every day, all around our country. And it's not just our city centers that are a part of our world. And I think that's a pretty special thing to be a part of here in the United States. So as we celebrate our country, I just want to point out that our country is diverse and beautiful, and lots of access to technology and lots of no access to technology. And we're still one beautiful, free enterprise, amazing nation.
Property owners with rights and arguments, disagreements, blue, red, rhinos, all of it. And I will give a tip to the Fairfield County Commercial Brokers Network, being to what Chris is saying, back to Darren and Dan, excuse me. All the technology in the world, yet I go to a luncheon, and at that luncheon we go, anybody close a deal? Anybody have a new deal? Anyone have a client that's a pain in the ass? Client they need something from. And without fail, you put a group of intelligent people in a room and more business gets done. And that's exactly what happened. I queried AI for XYZ, and actually it's a great example. 80% of what we do at EAC is leasing. Right? There's a nail salon in almost or virtually every shopping center. So if you ask AI, where can I put a nail? What shopping center doesn't have one? You probably wouldn't find a good answer.
Andreas, you're right. Denny Hiffman with NAI Hiffman is a good friend of mine, and he's just a brilliant guy. He highlights that his brokers, they come in every day, and he said that one-on-one among his commercial real estate brokers is vital for his success. He's a very successful brokerage, here in Chicago, and he manages the most industrial space anywhere around. And he said that one-on-one, being around each other, he's a big proponent of that. Which that might fly in the face of some folks, but that one-on-one amongst the colleagues is a big deal.
It's the way the business. It's network. Network equals net worth. And I will never forget chasing Jonathan Stein around ICSC because he was outpacing me to meet all the different people.
Yeah, right.
Because that is, in fact, my tip to the audience, as always, right, is don't get lost behind the screen. Yes, it has an answer, but a better answer to Chris's earlier statement is from the guy who's walked the road before, who went to school for it, who's a specialist in it. He's got the answer that AI can't teach. 6'7", Dan, up over to you. What's the biggest piece of advice you're going to give the audience?
Well, remember, we live in this incredible country, 250th anniversary. Enjoy your wonderful holiday, great July that we're in, and make sure that you know who you're voting for and that those folks relate to your industry and your business.
All right, jumping up. Brady Bunch Wheel, over to you, Becca. We'll close out with Chris.
Delayed gratification is okay. And what some of those delayed gratification pieces are conferences that are coming up this fall. So from ICSC Midwest, that'll be here in Chicago in October, straight into CRETech, which is in New York. We can't wait to see everyone. So get those registrations in.
To be fair, ICSC does also come to New York.
There you go.
You don't just say. The Northeast. I'm telling you, enough global warming. Inland will be here, and you'll just have to come this way.
Yeah.
More special investments. Chris, over to you.
Everyone should have a great 4th of July. I'm just gonna double up on what Dan and Becca said in regards to Independence Day weekend. Hope everyone has a great day. I mean, a great weekend and a great 4th. And then I'm gonna use 10 seconds for a couple shameless plugs. Next Wednesday, really happy to be part of Hartford Athletic, the professional soccer team here. Soccer is obviously huge right now. We are going to be part of Grow the Trades Night, which is awesome. Something great the Athletic do. And not only ABC of Connecticut, but the Construction Education Center, our training arm, will be involved with that. So that's pretty cool. And then also on July 17th, I will be a guest on the ABC Voices podcast with Chad Prinky from Well Consulting. So that's going to be kind of exciting. Chad's a great guy, does a lot of sales training for ABC, and I appreciate that. He was a moderator on a panel I was in Indianapolis a couple months ago. So pretty exciting stuff. But that's about it.
If you get the links over to me, we'll put them in the show notes. Happy to cross promote. It's the way of the world, right? Please, everyone, enjoy the 4th. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Remember to point the fireworks away from anything, combustible and so on, right? Enjoy responsibly. Tune in next month. Please do rate and review us. It really does help, as I've been told, as I know, day in and day out. Our audience continues to grow. We wouldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without my co-hosts. Thank you guys for tuning in, showing up. This is my favorite time of the month, and I'm looking forward to doing it once again next month. Thank you. Have a great 4th.
Happy 4th.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundtable, powered by CRECo.ai, your source for the latest in real estate and technology. For past episodes, sector interviews, and more great content, follow us on all social media and YouTube at CRECollaborative. You can also find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Please like, subscribe, and share. It really does help. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next Real Estate Roundtable.